Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully and welcome back to some more Sly Raccoon action. We have now finally infiltrated the inner sanctum of the Muggshot lair, which is basically the casino theme, which was initially going to encompass the entire level, but as you all know, Sucker Punch decided to say fuck that and expand upon the concept indefinitely. And of course what I mean by that is basically by giving, well, for this part anyway, my 3 favourite levels in the game. Well, I mean, I did enjoy the Murray racing level beforehand, but I think this one is... yeah, it's debatably my favourite. I just really love the city aesthetic, and the fact that we get to see more of it, it's always going to get a smile from me. And this also marks one of the first levels where we get a little bit of a change-up in the gameplay department. Well, I say gameplay department, but I guess more so in terms of level structure, because before it's been the typical runaround, collect the clue bottles, go through the level, collect the keys, you know, we're all pretty familiar with it by this point, but today, we're going to be getting a little added stipulation. What am I talking about? Well, you're about to find out right now.
Well, look who just walked into my crosshairs. Sly Cooper.
About time you showed up, Miss Fox. I was getting worried about you. Thought you took a wrong turn somewhere back in Paris.
The only one making wrong turns is you, Sly. I'd suggest you surrender before I paralyze you with my good friend, the shock pistol.
Now see, a girl whose best friend's a firearm's got issues. A little dinner, a little dancing. I think I can help you out.
Sounds romantic. As long as you don't mind dining in jail.
Nah, I hear the service is lousy.
Once I catch you, you'll know for yourself.
Ooh, sick burn. I don't know. But anyway, this is pretty much our level for the evening. We have to run away from Carmelita, who will shoot us with her shock pistol, and is model-wise significantly larger than Sly, I guess to make her distinct from the background, but regardless of such, these levels are actually really not as difficult as it might seem. I mean, yes, you have the added stipulation of Carmelita shooting you, but to be frank, she's kind of a terrible shot, so unless of course you're standing completely dead still for far too long, you should be okay to collect the clue bottle, so don't feel pressured by Carmelita shooting a giant laser gun at you. At the same time though, by definition of the level itself, while it does urge you to move along quickly, it's actually honestly one of my favourite sorts of levels because you get to explore quite a bit of the levels in a way in which I guess gives it a little bit more scope, if that makes any sense. Like, I mean, not to say that the other levels don't have any of it, but you're travelling across the city here, whereas comparatively before you were just going through what was, you know, a small area, like you had with the beginning of this, of Mugshot's area, and I guess likewise also, I guess the best way to describe it is that it doesn't feel as segmented as previous levels have, which is what really makes me love these Carmelita chase levels. And of course here, you also have a reprieve, so unless of course you're really feeling that pressure by Carmelita shooting at you, you have a moment's respite to collect your thoughts, you know, watch a little bit of TV, gamble with Mr. Dog here. I don't know. Also, one other thing that this level is significant for is that it doesn't have Bentley's marvelous catchphrase of press the circle to enter the vault code. Why that is, I have no idea, or why he even keeps saying it throughout the game, I also have no idea. But regardless of such, I will be there to say it. By the way, that is pretty much the only section where you will ever find the hat ability useful. And press the circle to enter the vault code. Yeah, we also get our Thievius Raccoonus page quite early here.
You found the blueprints for Muggshot's additions to Mesa City. With these files, I'll be able to help you find all his clues and breakables. Just look through your binocucom to get the information.
And thus we have a Thievius, well, not really a Thievius Raccoonus page, but again, we have a nice little handy-dandy tip to get you the breakable objects and of course the collectibles. Which is again, I already mentioned this before, but I really do love how, you know, they just included this in the game. I mean, it might not sound like much, but again, considering the amount of game design which could quite easily lend itself to being completely, I guess, more of a scavenger hunt than it really needs to be, it really does make you thankful for little conveniences like, you know, finding the location of different clues and such. I don't know, it's just one of those game design things that you don't really think about until you start missing it, which I guess is the problem that a lot of people tend to have with games from the, I guess, the 4th generation and prior. I don't know. And the other real interesting thing to say about this level is that I kind of wish the game did a little bit more of this. Like, I mean, I think in terms of Carmelita chases, there's only 2 in the entirety of Sly Raccoon, and a couple of others peppered in around other games of the series, but I really do wish that the game did more of this, like in, you know, Sorelli's section and a couple of future levels, but I'll save my thoughts on that for later.
I'm gonna hunt you down, Cooper. You can't run forever.
Dun-dun. Still posing. Yeah. Don't know why I did that. In any case, now we're on to the second of our fantastic trio of levels. This one, I'd say is my third favourite, although I kind of go back and forth on it, to be honest. It's still a very decent level nonetheless, because I think it... I don't know, I don't know, for me, all I really need to enjoy a good video game level is some decent aesthetics, some decent gameplay, and some decent music, and I'm set. Well, I mean, I guess it could be set for any sort of video game, really, but now we have the Back Alley Heist, which we don't actually pull a back alley heist. It's pretty much the same as any other level, except we now have the gimmick of it being in, well, in a rather unusual perspective. I don't think it's quite 2.5D, because it's, well, like, 2.5D is a bit of a redundant term anyway, because I mean, it's, the entire, well, most of the level is pretty much seen from this sort of perspective, but 2.5D I felt like was a very bizarre misnomer, because I mean, it's in 3D visuals and everything, but they have the 2D gameplay. It's like, oh, it's 2.5D, it's... No, because I mean, you can control this completely in 3D. It's kind of similar to the Crash Bandicoot 2 sort of levels of, you know, just moving the camera to the side while Crash still has 3D movement. I don't know. Weird method of description, but whatever, I'm not going to argue about it. What I really enjoy about this level, though, is, again, the aesthetics of it, and I guess just the... as a whole, the general feel of Muggshot's section, because it has this certain... It has this certain grit to it that just feels very befitting of the Sly Cooper universe. I don't know. It's just the sort of thing that I can't get enough of. I don't know, I guess I've just sort of always been a fan of that urban grunge sort of feel. I don't know, it feels nice and homely. Bobo. This is also a level that I do think you'll probably have a bit of trouble finding the clues in. It's not impossible, but yeah, if you're having trouble, just find the blueprints and you should be okay. Then again, this is also a level that's famous for having those machine gun-toting dogs, so be on your guard. I wouldn't say it's especially difficult, but, you know, not exactly a level where you can just cruise along blindly. And I guess to go into the Sly Raccoon trivia, since I'm running out of things to say, yeah, I found out recently that Muggshot's voice actor, Kevin Blackton, actually died last year. And for those of you wondering who else Kevin Blackton voices, he also voices the Panic King, who is a villain that we'll be coming across a little bit later in the game. Very disappointing to hear, actually, because this man has a fantastic voice, as you'll soon come to hear. I don't know, I mean, not just as Muggshot, but also as the Panic King, really. It just sounds so cool, and it's sad to see this man passed away. Oh dear. That is not very good. A Wooga, abandoned shop. And by the way, for those of you wondering what the graffiti is down there, that's... Ooh. Ouch. Yeah, that's not Sly they're penning there, that's actually Jojo the Raccoon from Rocket Robot on Wheels, which was a previous Sucker Punch game for the Nintendo 64. A game that I didn't actually get around to playing, I think... And again, I might be misremembering this, or I might have dreamed this up after I drank that bizarre white gravy in the parking lot. But I swear it was a game that was on the N64, which was more of a general platformer. I don't think there was any sort of design philosophies or resemblance that would have eventually came into Sly Raccoon itself, but it looked okay from what I remember seeing of the gameplay footage. But yeah, there will actually be more than a few Rocket Robot on Wheels references in the Sly Cooper series. The biggest one of which I think being in Sly 2, where you can see Rocket's gravestone in one of the Contesters levels. I don't know, I guess Sucker Punch kinda giving a bit of a backhand to that legacy, which, again, I don't necessarily know if they do this for Infamous Second Son, or if they're gonna have any sneaky references in the Ghost of Tsushima, which is coming out soon. But, yeah, Sucker Punch have always been a little bit sneaky, because there's actually a trophy in Infamous 2 called Thunderflop, which is in reference to a certain ability of Murray's. And, yeah, if you jump from a high distance as Cole, land on the ground, you'll do the Thunderflop, which knows neither friend nor foe. I don't know, it's always nice to see developers pay homage to their past legacy and press the circle to enter the vault code. Yeah, maybe that should be a thing in Ghost of Tsushima. We can have one of our companions say, "Press the circle to enter the vault code." Anyway, what mystical page of the Thievius Raccoonus shall we be getting today?
Oh yeah, this will come in handy. It's Suzanne Cooper's notes pertaining to water safety. With this knowledge under your belt, you won't have to waste a charm whenever you fall into water.
Amazing! You got the swimming techniques! Now you can learn how to swim, Sly! Well, I mean, I say that, but it's not technically swimming, it's more so... Well, I guess it's pretty much as Bentley said. Jump into the water and you won't lose a lucky charm. And now, this might sound like a perfectly reasonable upgrade, but there is a secondary technique to this which gets even sillier. And again, as I keep on saying before and time again, are these thieves or gods here? I mean, I made a comparison to Time Lords earlier, but I'm holding on to that theory that Sly's family is from Gallifrey. I don't know, it's a theory I'll hold on to the day I die. Now we're going to edit around this and go straight to the top. Again, I am still toying with the idea of that, because, again, I mentioned how stingy I am on hard drive space, and I was thinking about cutting out the hub world sequences, or maybe just to show them off the once and then just go from level to level. I don't know, it'd cut it down a little bit, but that's just something I'm still debating on. But this, again, continuing the urban grunge feel, and we also get a few cool set pieces here and there, like if you jump on the cars to get the clue bottles, the cars will fall down and land on people implicitly, which means that Sly is now responsible for murder. Yeah, not quite the hero he seems. Well, I mean, I guess being a thief, he isn't really technically a hero in the traditional sense. Although I guess, considering that it is, you know, a platformer and everything, they'd try and go for the whole Robin Hood route with the whole, you need to steal from master criminals so you know you're a master thief. I don't know. It's not quite as charitable, I should say, but it kind of skirts that line between he does bad things but is good at heart. I don't know. There's always a weird sort of conundrum when you get to that sort of noble demon sort of writing. Okay, scanning for clues. And yeah, you can tell which one the clues are when they're marked with green, and you can tell what breakable objects are when they're marked with, I think, is it red or is it orange? My eyesight is starting to go. I guess another reason why I also tend to love Muggshot's levels even more than some of the other levels in the game is mostly for the neon lighting. I don't know, I'm a massive sucker for neon lighting, and especially neon green especially, it looks pretty, and Solidus-Skully is distracted by pretty lights. He worms my way into its heart. My heart loves pretty lights. Anyway, regardless of such though, while this level is pretty sparse, I think finding the clues is actually, honestly, one of the easier levels for it. Especially since a lot of them tend to be grouped pretty close together, so you shouldn't really have too much trouble. It's just more so a matter of time, really. As for anything else about the level itself, it's actually surprisingly simple considering how far it is into Muggshot's section of the hub world. And again, I'm sure you're probably already seeing the pattern as it is already, but again, you have your opening level, then you have the first part of the hub world, then you have the second part, which tends to go into the inner sanctum, and then you finally go off and fight the boss fight, as we will soon be doing, just as soon as this is done. Considering how far some of the other commentaries have gone, I honestly thought Sly Raccoon would have been done quicker than this, but I'm still enjoying what we've got so far. Well, then again, I guess I am also uploading this at double the pace, so that also means that it'll be done sooner than later, probably nearing December, late December, mid-December, possibly. I don't know, it depends on how much I put in. But in any case, don't really have much else to say in regards to anything else related to this, so I suppose, yeah, I don't really have any more slide trivia, that surprises me. I suppose we could probably also delve into a little bit more with some of the beta conceptions, and something that I probably should have mentioned during the Carmelita Chase section, but Carmelita Chase section, that's actually relevant because one of Carmelita's initial names was Chase, as well as a very different design, actually. Well, I wouldn't say very different, it's just more so an altered color scheme with a slightly I think a slightly different snout and design features, but yeah, Carmelita's original name was Chase, and I guess also something that to mention was also with the holographic markers. And again, I mentioned beforehand that one of the initial concepts was to use a raccoon lady who would take Sly's picture and then hide inside the little treasure box. And that was initially going to be how you saved your progress, but there was also two cut characters in the game, which was characters named Zig and Zag. Now, one of them, as I mentioned before, was going to be the person that would save your progress. As for the other character, though, I am not entirely sure. And as for what their roles were, I mean, they were both raccoons, but as for what their roles were, I'm not entirely sure, but I don't know, it's weird that they were cut out of the game. I guess Sucker Punch probably couldn't really find a role to put them in. I don't know. Either way, it is still very suspicious that Bentley has holographic markers placed all over the place into areas that are pretty heavily infested with enemies of the Cooper gang. And this is Muggshot's voice. Rest in peace, Mr. Blackton. You've done your duty proud, sir. I guess even speaking of Muggshot's voice, I really like its very mobsterish fashion. Yeah, you joke. I don't know. He's the sort of guy who would probably say something like, "Well, you oughta." Oh, I really wish I had more to say for these levels, and these are some of my favourites, so I should be bursting with things to say about them, but I can't really say much more other than they're fun. I don't know, but I guess it's the case of a level that's more fun to play than it is fun to explain to everybody why it is fun to play. Well, then again, I suppose also that, again, I spent the most of this video talking about the aesthetics, but again, there's just something about it that just works beautifully, like the sunset, or, you know, the neon lighting, or the grittier environment. It all makes for a nice level to travel through, and one that just feels very fitting of a Master Thief traveling through these dangerous areas. Which, I mean, I guess could apply to the whole game, generally, because, I mean, despite some of the graphics themselves, by pressing the circle to enter the vault code, despite some of the visuals aging slightly in the graphic department, you know, even despite the cartoon shading look, Sly Raccoon, I think artistically, just really holds up. But anyway, we shall save that for later.
Aha! It's Sir Andrew Cooper's thief replica technique. He used to make fake stand-ups of himself to confuse guards into attacking the wrong thing. Use the triangle button to put together a fake Sly Cooper.
Yeah, this is pretty much an exact copy of Ratchet & Clank's decoy glove. Again, press the triangle button and it will create a cardboard cutout of Sly. I have no idea how this works, since I'm pretty sure enemies should be able to immediately see past this disguise, but then again, in Ratchet & Clank's case, it was pretty much just a blow-up doll of Ratchet, so what the hell. And now we shall fall into this giant wrecking ball, and we smash. No, now Muggshot is spelled correctly. I guess the way in which it's smashed, it's spelled Muggshot. It's Po-Mo! Postmodern! Anyway, now it is time to go off and beat up the head honcho himself. We're coming for you, Muggshot! I will take over your operation, cause I am Bentley, destroyer of lives! God, it doesn't even sound like Bentley anymore, it just sounds like some generic fuckity fuck. Anyway, enjoy the cutscene, and I will see you in a moment to talk about this shot of mugs. Oh yeah, we'll be taking a shot at this mug, I'll tell you that much.
What? My boys have been yapping about some big mysterious dude running around cracking skulls and this is it? You're the monkey wrench in my operation? Some scrawny rat with a stick. Wait a second. I seen that stick before.
Maybe when my father knocked your block off with it.
Your father? Wow! You're a Cooper? You know, that Thingus Rackamagookus had a lot of nice pictures, but way too many big words.
So you don't mind just handing it over?
What, are you kidding? You break into my place, steal my stuff, trash the joint. I feel transgressed and violated. Let's rock!
Okay, so our next boss fight is against the main man himself, Muggshot, who will shoot down these pillar things. I think they're meant to be, like, ceiling lamps. And basically we're going to show Muggshot that Kingdom Hearts is light! And by that I mean basically we're shining light on these things, which I think is meant to be generating heat that will melt his guns. His beautiful guns are destroyed! But it's a good thing he got to spare upstairs. And yeah, you're basically doing this to defeat Muggshot because, considering the bulky mass of muscle that he is, yeah, we ain't penetrating that. Well, we could, if we had guns. But again, Sly doesn't shoot his enemies, he will just merely steal from them, humiliate them, and force them to relive their childhood trauma until the day they die. God damn, that's actually very depressing. I mean, considering Muggshot's origins when he was bullied by people exactly like Mr. Sylvester Cooper, well, this is probably bringing back childhood trauma. Did Muggshot really do anything wrong? Yes, he did. He beat people up, and he's bad. We gotta beat him up back, and bad. Anyway, it basically works in a tier system, and I would say that the first two phases are probably the most difficult. At this stage though, just as long as you hide behind the mirrors, you should be alright. Just be careful you don't get shut off, because then, well, tumbling to your doom and you gotta do the whole thing over again. But that being said though, it is, despite having to be kept on your toes for a little bit, it is a decently fun boss fight. Although it is, I'd say it's a bit of a step up from Sir Raleigh's fight, but not by much, so you should be alright for the second boss fight. Boss fight in the third area, boss fight in the third area, however, yeah, that's when you gotta watch out. But anyway, as we smack around the last mirror, or at least what should be the last mirror. Come on, Mr. Sylvester Cooper, don't make a liar out of me. And smack. There we go.
This is impossible. A little pipsqueak like you, beating a big, strong bruiser like me? It ain't right. You want all of that stupid picture book? You're gonna have to go down to Haiti and cross paths with Miss Ruby. And then believe you me, you don't want to be you.
Mugshot's section of the Thievius Raccoonus contained an entry from my gunslinging ancestor, Tennessee Kid Cooper. His specialty was the rail walk and rail slide. Moves perfected through a lifetime of theft in the Old West. Getting out of town proved to be a little more challenging than getting in. Having just missed us, Inspector Fox went for the next best thing and dragged that canine steroid case off to jail. That was the end of Muggshot's gambling empire, and Mesa City's citizens soon returned home. While me and the boys, well, we enjoyed the rest of our stay in America, and then returned to Paris, ready for our next mission.
So, with that said, I am Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and I'll see you next time in the Sly Raccoon commentary when we take on Ms. Ruby. Bye-bye.
I figured out a way to get us to Haiti.